Welcome to the BV Nitehawks Alum Podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media at BV Nitehawks Alums and visit our website to donate at www.bvnighthawksalum.ca. Now here's the show.
Welcome back, all of our Beaver Valley Alumni Association. This is our episode 1 of the Hawk Talk pod for season 2. And I'm really pumped here to have Connor Jones, Jake Morissette. We got a special guest coming up on today's episode. Boys, how you doing?
Doing good. Looking forward to getting a few more episodes back in. It's cool.
I know the listeners can't see you get our faces, but man, it's good to see you guys. Yeah,
you too.
Yeah, I tell you, I was we were talking just before we went and record there, and just about watching that video that TJ posted out there. So if anyone hasn't seen that video, jump on Instagram there on our BV alumni page, because watching our change room and it's updated, man. It's looking pretty nice. I wish we had a stationary bike when I played. Probably would have I would have looked at that a lot while others rode it, but just the whole thing, looking at and a projector screen too. I could have worked a little bit more on my PP skills, but just going through that change room and looking, going, wow, like we sat in those booths. Like you can reframe them, you can update them, and everything, but the people that have sat in that change room, it really brought back some awesome memories. I got some goosebumps right away when I saw that. So
super cool. Looked really good. Obviously, it'd be good to get our guest take on that today. What the room was like when he played. Obviously,
absolutely. Those I love seeing the names under the stall. How they showed that off too. I mean, that was a pretty cool tradition. I can't remember who sat in my stall, but I know I was excited. I hope it was Chris Cuff.
Yeah, I still remember just the day you go in, and it's like you got your helmet up there and your own gloves. It's just like it's such a I think experience that anyone that's played I guess junior hockey, when you actually don't have to buy your own equipment, can really look at it and go, wow, like that was a pretty cool experience putting those on, like and throwing a tie down on them was always fun too. So yeah, boys, today we got, our guest today is Dwayne Bouliane, and we're really happy to have him on. We've talked to him a little bit before in the past with the Alumni Association. This guy, if you look at where he's from and you look a little bit back, we don't have as much information as we can about those teams, but just reading off a few things here. Local guy, he'll talk a bit more about that. 85 to 91. Most dedicated player, back to back years, which is just kind of like obviously a real Nitehawk guy who really resonates and shows what this team's all about, and I'm sure he's a kind of a lifelong Hawk, and that's a model guy who we'd really want our players to look up. So Dwayne, welcome to the show. How you doing over there?
I'm doing great, thanks for having me on.
So when you looked at, did you have a chance to look at that video that TJ put out there?
Yeah, I had a look. I've had the privilege to go in the dressing room, over the last few years, so I've seen the changes. The basic, even when you walk in, it's different than it was when I played. The entrance is different, and there's a lot of different things, but the structure is the same. You got your cubicles that you guys were talking. Initially, they had handmade name tags on the top. I think Roy Kasler did that for the guys. I believe I still have mine, probably somewhere in my memorabilia. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I had a chance to sign the seat in my stall that I sat in for the most of my years. Obviously, I probably had a few.
You didn't sit in the same stall for 5 years in a row?
Well, you have pecking order, right?
Yeah, you have a throne.
I was a rookie once.
Right.
He was a rookie. As soon as he gets it, you don't want to be a guy near the shower. So he's like next year or two, he's getting a bit better, moving up. I'm guessing by your most senior year, you had the stall that you could put your feet up in, right?
No, not lucky there. I was creature of habit. It didn't really matter to me like where I sat. I just like to play the game.
And I'm sure it was like with you, I remember too. Like I know what stall I sat in, but realistically, you're sitting down maybe tying up your skates, but most of the time you're walking around the change room. You're chatting with other guys and hanging out. I don't, maybe, 10 minutes before game time, you're sitting in your stall because you're doing your thing, but really the hour and a half, 2 hours you're there before the game, no one's really sitting much. You're kind of up and about. And I don't know if you guys had a 5 disc changer CD player when you played, probably not, but me
I
and
think it
Jake
was
used to make
cassettes.
cassettes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
were you guys doing mixtapes at least?
Oh, probably. Yeah. That's that wasn't in my wheelhouse to do. So someone else took care of that.
You don't remember the pump up song before the game? Like, you didn't have like, hey, we're hitting the tape at this time, 6:45 before we get out there?
Well, like I think I've explained to you before, it's been like probably over 30 years. So there are a few songs I'm sure but they don't come to mind right off the jump here.
Simmy, I know your song, right?
Sandstorm Darude, back and forth the whole time. It was it still pops up on my phone like this day in history. It was the Sandstorm came out like in the 90s. So I don't know who sent that to me, but I can't get it off there now. It's in my alerts every time. I think it's coming up soon, like September. Maybe it's early October or something. Anyways, so Dwayne, can you tell us a bit about about kind of where you're from, how you grew up minor hockey wise, and then how the Hawks came on for you?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I moved into the Beaver Valley area. I think I was in grade 1. So I kind of moved in right at a good time from the East Kootenays, and then just played minor hockey, through the years. And I was getting into bantam, and don't even know trying to think back what league I would have been in or where I was when the Hawks started. But obviously I'd go to the games. That was the highlight of the weekend, go to a Nitehawk game and watch the fights and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I grew up in Columbia Gardens, so I wasn't right directly in Fruitvale. So it's just outside towards the border. Yeah, and then just played the minor hockey and did the rep thing. And eventually I was getting close to the, time where I could start trying out. And that was a little intimidating because I was still in bantam, and I tried out in my second year bantam. And in actuality, I managed to get one game in the 84 season. Actually, hey, I played in 7 seasons.
There you go.
But that was an eye opener too, because I was always like, oh, midget hockey, I got to go play midget. And midget was like goon hockey. And, so before I got to play midget, I played junior. And then my first year of midget, I was playing both junior and midget at the same time. So it was great to have a junior club there to play, in your hometown.
No, yeah, because you were saying like a midget hockey was like goon hockey back then. I'm interested to know what the junior league was like back then, and like when you're moving into that from minor hockey to the junior level, what, like, especially at that time, like what were you looking forward to, and like what was different, or was there anything that you were maybe intimidated by moving to that level?
Well, we called it jungle bee hockey because it was, yeah, it was pretty pretty rough. But I could actually say that some of my rougher hockey was still midget. In midget hockey, I think it was still some of the most headhunting hockey you could ever play. So going to junior, I don't know. I think once I got to that level, it kind of, I like to play physical. It was my kind of game. I wasn't the right size for it, but I like to play physical hockey. So getting into junior, it was more my style. It was, it was a challenge. But it was a blast. I'll never forget the years. I may not remember a lot of the details, but I never forget just the routine year after year. I wish we had the training technology as we do nowadays, like see what I could have done. Or
what was it like though? Like when you're saying going from playing midget or bantam, like, hey, like the Nitehawks are here, like it's junior hockey and it's in, Beaver Valley.
Well, back in the day, Beaver Valley and Trail, it was actually a shock when I went back and it became the Greater Trail Minor Hockey.
Brutal.
I was kind of like insulted and a little bit put off by that because there's no way I would have went and played hockey for Trail at a junior B level. I would have went and played junior A if they would. I mean, they had a team, I think, the year after I finished. But no, I mean, you knew all the guys, great rivalry. You played your minor hockey against them. And then a few of them managed, they trickled in. They didn't quite make the trail team, so they'd come to the valley because we had a lot of local players, didn't have as many imports. So but it was, there was never a doubt that I was going to be a Nitehawk. If I was, if I had the skill set to do it, that was where I was going to play. And so then going and playing it, once you step into it, it didn't really feel as big of a jump. I'm not saying I dominated or anything, but I remember my first game was when I was 15, going to Rossland as a call up. It could have been the first shift, I don't know, but I'm on the half boards waiting for a pass from my D. I get the pass. By the time I take the pass, turn around to maybe take half a stride, I ended up back in the corner. I just got totally nailed. And it was like, welcome to junior hockey. These boys are big.
Remember who hit you?
I don't remember who hit me. It was like, okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of ask. I mean, I see that for listeners at home there, you can't see the screen here, but he's got just an unreal sick Nitehawks jacket behind you. You're still fitting. I mean, you're looking like you work out in your build, but I mean, you probably fit in that still, yeah?
No, I was only 165 pounds back in the days when I played.
Oh, you're the more the in the game ice hockey, you're more the Jake Morissette build.
So sure, I wish I had that build still, but we'll go with it.
So Jake, you can next time if we have an alumni event, you're gonna fit in that jacket, all right, for us?
I'd love to throw that vest on.
That looks incredible. I'm really impressed by that.
Is actually the original crest from the jerseys, the original Nitehawk jerseys.
That right there that we see?
Yeah, that's the original Nitehawk crest. Yeah. So we didn't have this on our jackets. I just said I got it sewn on.
No wonder. That's the most dedicated player right there. Right? Still, you might even win it this year.
They should name it after him. 5 wins.
Right? I mean, yeah. Just speaking about playing in the league, like I'm from Vancouver Island, but that the whole experience in the Kootenays, playing, it's so unique, and it's hard to explain to people, that you're playing like I was an import player, but you're playing in a town with a lot of locals. You're playing towns that are only about 30 minutes apart, 45 minutes apart, some of them. Was it the same? Like, were those rivalries as big then? What were the crowds like? How was it? How was the atmosphere in the rinks?
Well, Grand Forks was the worst atmosphere, and that's a little.
Were they the worst? Were they also just the worst team as well? Like,
I don't think they were as bad as they have been in the recent years. All I know is whenever we went there, it was a physical battle, and you had to watch your back from the people in the crowds.
That still goes. I mean, when I play, I don't know if it still happens today, but you're right. Like people hanging over the glass, pretty much, right?
Yeah, we had a full-on brawl, bench clearing, outnumbered. I'd like to say I did well, but I got on the ice. I'm first brawl ever. Looking around, who can I help? Their goalie blindsided me with a blocker.
Oh.
I kind of went down, and he was over top of me. I was like, okay, I guess I'm out.
You probably weren't stopping for dinner in Grand Forks on the way home. Maybe wait till you got halfway or so. That 2-hour drive back must have been interesting.
We always had some interesting trips from on the way back. One year we stopped at the beer and wine store. I don't know why. I don't know who was going there. Turns out that one of their executive members were working there. So we got reported because our bus stopped there. So that didn't go over too well, but we always had a good time.
Team bonding moment.
Yeah. Cigars on the bus.
Oh yeah? Were cards big on the bus when you played?
Yeah, we always had the cards, and you had the guys in the back of the bus doing their chew. We had a goalie once, he couldn't even start because he did too much chew, and he got spilling sick, so he couldn't start the game. So that's not quite as much discipline as what your current years would have dictated.
It's because we didn't have the training technology, right? So
yeah.
So now, so tell us a little bit about kind of what you did after the Nitehawks, how you're still engaged, and like obviously we've gotten to link up a few times recently, and just kind of where you see things going, and how it's nice to be involved, like how you feel about being involved with the Alumni Association.
Well, so when after I finished my 91 season, I was already in school for physical education. So I went out to University of Alberta and did my Bachelor of Phys Ed degree, specializing in health and fitness promotion, became a certified fitness appraiser, or they called it professional fitness and lifestyle consultant. And then when we left there, eventually we ended up back in Fruitvale, and I was then put my name forward to be assistant coach, and I coached the 95-96 team. I'll use that term loosely, a little over my head, but it was an experience, but very hard to stand on the bench and, not be able to do much, and, feeling like you could probably still be out there or want to be.
Was that your first time kind of being back involved after playing?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't like nowadays you can keep you got the internet and you got all the information at your fingertips. We were just getting into that era, I think, around then.
You were like, you guys are curving your own sticks?
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing, you young punks?
Yeah. We curved their own sticks. Then I got to come back and become involved in this alumni association, which, there's lots of players, and I've played with a lot of them.
Yeah, pretty good tradition being a Nitehawk. I think, Simmy, you said it. It's kind of a special time when you first walk in there. I mean, I know I grew up around it, but for us local guys, like, I didn't grow up being like, hey, I wanted to play in the NHL. I wanted to play for the Nitehawks. And Jake, I think you were probably the same way, eh?
Yeah, it was the same for me. I know, like, I growing up living across the road from the rink, I always wanted to get over and watch all the games, and that's where I wanted to play. And then from there, it was just gravy, really.
So yeah, as we kind of wrap it up here, Dwayne, we're gonna really work hard. We want to connect with as many alum as we can. I think it's a really great thing. I think clubs hopefully all have it. It's good for the game as well. But I think what BV does is very special. And so what's our outlook? Like, where do we feel? I want to, we've chatted about connecting with players, current players, and then players that are even a bit younger that have just finished up. You want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, so first off, for any of the older boys listening and taking part in this, don't be afraid to step up, ask what can be done, or any commitment or any help to the alumni. Any little bit helps, and it's not asking for hours of time. It's not even asking for, money. It could just be stories, could be history, the handout to the younger guys, if you have the ability to help profession wise. I know, coming out of hockey, a lot of people, that's all their life is. And then all of a sudden you realize that there is no more hockey, and now you have to move on with life. So then you have the questions of careers, moving forward. And I'm sure we have such a wide variety of guys that, you can reach out, and someone should be able to advise you a little bit on what to look for, what to avoid, how to best use your time.
Yeah. Someone to kind of lean on a little bit and have, maybe bounce some ideas off, chat a little bit about kind of, what they did after hockey. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, because lots of guys, there's a lot of guys who have stayed in hockey and in different areas and different aspects, and power to them for doing that. But yeah, there's a lot have to go on to the real world and actually get a job, like become a teacher or something like that.
There you go.
Which is what we were told to do when I was young. Be a teacher, and then there was like 1,000 of them for every job.
Well, but it was, I can help you with some of that ones, right? But it's it's amazing to have us together, and we've been looking for ways to connect, and I think this is just a great start. Thanks a ton for coming on. I mean, it shows a guy like you, and it wasn't hard to figure it out when Connor told me, oh, played these amount of years, and you're like, with your one game in there, the 7 years, like you're just a staple in the kind of the Hawks community. So I personally want to say thank you. It's been great getting to know you, Connor, Jake.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing this, Dwayne. Really appreciate it. And it's just great to hear your stories about what it was like back when you played. And obviously, I know what you've been doing with the alumni and really been putting a lot of work into that. So we just really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
PG, so.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those bus rides could have been a little more PG-13 plus, but we could have heard some stories, but we'll save that for another day.
Oh
Save
yeah.
that for the live alumni get-togethers.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
A great weekend. Hopefully we'll get another episode coming out next month. And if you're interested in getting on, please hit us up on Instagram. Send us a message if you want to come on as a guest. We'd love to have anyone that was associated with the club in any which way, whether you're a player or you're in the management staff, or you just were a fan or a billet, anything that you can add and want to chat about. We're here to talk about it. So thanks a ton, and looking forward to the next time we get together, boys.
All
Take
right,
care, guys.
fellas. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Later. Bye.